Okay, so I'm going to get straight into it now. This video is actually going to be about why you're not losing body fat. I say body fat rather than weight loss because people look for self-gratification and they'll just try and shift water weight overnight, and they'll say, oh look, I've lost 3 pounds, when in reality, next time they have a drink or they have food, they're going to probably go back over that weight anyway. The first point I want to say is you're not in a calorie deficit. So when I say calorie deficit, I mean you burn more calories than you consume in a day. I don't know. Ideally you want to be in like a slight calorie deficit, like from 300 calories a day to 500. Over the weekend you're getting to around 3,500 calories. Much of a deficit. It gets adjusted every so often. So for example, now I start off at 80 kilograms and I'm burning 2,500 calories through the week or whatever, something like that. My body weight starts going down. All of a sudden I'm 77 kilograms after 2-3 weeks. This is just the generic example now. This may not be the case for everybody. So I'm at 77 kilograms now. All of a sudden my metabolism is slower because my body doesn't need as many calories. But if I'm still consuming the same amount of calories, you can see that the weight loss and the fat loss is actually going to be much less than you first started. So you need to adjust that according to how your body weight reacts. So as your weight goes lower, you need to be in a deeper calorie deficit. So from being in 500 a day, shift it to 700 to 800. It's completely person dependent. That's why online coaching is such a big market with regards to personal training, because if you have a personal trainer, it's just a one-off session, maybe once or twice a week. Online coaching is nutrition and the sessions throughout the week. You have weekly check-ins and it'll be adjusted to it. That's what you pay the money for. So the next point is you're actually going to be in that plateau where you're not burning as many calories anymore. So as your body weight does go down, as I explained just now, you do need to increase your calorie deficit. I don't need to go back into that anymore. Next one is a big one for me, is training intensity. So you hear so many people saying it's like 30% training, 70% diet. But what a lot of people do then is think, oh, I see this person on Instagram or YouTube and they're just going lightweight to get blood into the muscle. But at that point, they may be 2 weeks out from a show or something like that, where they're not forcing the weight because they don't want to tear the muscle up anymore. Don't do that. You train on your own accord. So if you're not training to your maximum ability, you're not having that kind of stimulus in the body. The stimulus is everything. If I'm not burning calories or if I'm not causing my muscle to grow, there's no need for any food to go into my body whatsoever. My body doesn't change. So that leads me on to the big 70% majority point, which is the nutrition. People think, oh, it's calories in versus calories out, so I can have 2,500 calories a day of sugar, coming from chocolate, sweets, bread, Herbalife nutrition, which I don't believe in. From there, they think, oh, as long as I burn over that amount, it doesn't matter whatsoever. That is where the weight loss versus fat loss element comes into it, because fat loss is a lot more hormonal based, which would be a bit too advanced to go into right now because we'd be here for hours. Another one, sauces. This is a big point for me because a lot of people try and do Slimming World, which is another fad diet I do not believe in whatsoever. The curry sauces, for example, I don't read too much into it, but they'll say, oh, it's only got 10 calories in it, but that's per serving. The serving could be 5 grams, which people would probably use triple that anyway. But then you need to look at the ingredients as well. So stuff like fructose and corn syrup, etc. That's just going straight as fat anyway. Which leads me on to another point then. You're burning too little calories. It's that generic. A lot of people, especially beginners, they'll be on the treadmill, 15% incline, walking 3 kilometers an hour, but they'll be holding on to the handrail. They don't break a sweat, but the machine is telling them that they've burned 800 calories in the hour. If you're holding on to something in front of you, your body isn't fully engaged. if your body's not fully engaged, you're not burning maximum calories. So be accountable for all your calories and all the work you put in. Which also means then you could be putting in too many calories. How can I put this out? If I think I'm burning 800 calories from holding on to the treadmill, but I'm actually burning 300, 400 calories, all of a sudden, I'm assuming I've burned 400 calories more than I have. So that means then I'll try and go home and I'll eat 400 calories more than I think I deserve. Which also means then I'm going to be putting on the weight because I'm not in this deep calorie deficit, which I need to be in. These are quite generic points, so I'm just going to fly through them now. If you do have any more questions, message me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I can be, more than helpful to answer. Which does lead me on to one of the main points. How are you measuring this weight loss or fat loss? Use the scales as a guideline. Don't use them as the be-all, end-all, because people like to measure at different times, different days. For example, if I go and do an hour on the treadmill, fasted on a Saturday, and before that, I'm 80 kilograms. But the next day, I'll do it after breakfast, I'm 81 kilograms. This is an extreme example. People start thinking, I've put a kilo on, I need to overdo it. Be consistent. You need to be, consistency is everything, especially with fat loss. I'll go on to another point of why consistency is everything, which means, how can I say it? I'm going to give an example. You burn 1,000 calories one day because you want to go out with your friends on a night out. So you're thinking, I'm going to be, drinking and having a kebab after it. I'm going to burn 1,500 calories in my session. Next day, you don't go to the gym whatsoever. Okay, it does happen. A lot of people do it. You've burned that 1,500 calories, but your body is completely shocked by this. So it burns the calories, but because you're in such a deep calorie deficit, which your body's not used to, it starts holding on to emergency calories because your body's going to lack energy. If your body is naturally going to be holding on to energy, the next day, when you start eating again, your body's going to be storing that energy as fat. You see what I mean? So you've got to be consistent. You can't go burning more calories one day than the next. You're best off, keeping track with food diaries and training diaries. I don't know. It is such a complex topic, It's completely person dependent, but they're the generic points. So thank you for watching. The next video is actually going to be on why you're not gaining muscle. It's a bit simpler. It's basically around caloric surpluses rather than caloric deficits and heavy lifting. Thanks for watching.